Today I'm going to go over how to install a JB4 and spark plugs in a Veloster N. To begin the installation, you'll want to remove the battery. This step is to allow access to the car's firewall so we can run the OBD2 connection wire. To remove the battery, you'll first need to remove the battery plate, which is held into place by a 12mm bolt. Once the plate has been removed, you will need to unhook the negative and positive terminals of the battery. These are both held into place by 10mm nuts. After you remove the battery terminal, you can lift the battery out of the car. Now that the battery has been removed, you'll need to remove the car's ECU. To do this, unscrew the two 12mm bolts at the bottom of the ECU. Next, unhook the two wire harnesses at the top of the ECU. Finally, unscrew the 12mm bolt holding the battery ground wire. You can now set the ECU to the side. I've already removed the battery and ECU once before to install a subwoofer in the car, so you'll see some of the firewall insulation removed and a hole drilled into the firewall. I used the same location as the power wire to drill a second hole for the OBD2 wire. I drilled a hole using a uni bit right next to the hole I already had in the firewall. After the hole was drilled, I installed a plastic grommet and ran the wire. At this point, I left the OBD2 connector unhooked and I reinstalled the battery, reversing the previous steps. You'll notice I have a blue wire ran from the JB4 to the fuel wire harness. This is because the JB4 was purchased secondhand. Typically, this wire would be black. Also, the Bluetooth adapter was already installed in the unit when I received it. If you purchase the Bluetooth adapter, you will simply unscrew the 4 bolts that hold the JB4 together with an Allen key and attach the Bluetooth adapter inside the unit. To use the Bluetooth adapter, you'll need to download an app. There is an additional one-time fee to purchase this app. The app does not come with the purchase of the Bluetooth adapter. If you're going to use the fuel connections, I suggest getting an additional adapter so you don't have to tap into the factory wires, and I would suggest getting it connected to the JB4 prior to hooking it up to the engine. As a correction to this video, you'll notice I have the fuel wire tapped into the red wire of the Burger fuel wire adapter. This is incorrect for the 2-liter motor. The red wire is used for the 3.3-liter Kia Stinger motor. You need to tap into the black wire in position number 2 on the adapter. To begin installing the JB4, first remove the engine cover. Next, unhook the wire harness located on the top of the engine. Then, unhook the fuel wire harness. Finally, you'll want to unhook the wire harness located on the charge pipe. After these 3 harnesses have been disconnected, you can install the JB4's wires. I began with the fuel wire harness, then moved on to the engine wire, and finally the charge pipe. The brown and black wire harness should be installed on top of the engine, and the multicolor wire harness should be going to the charge pipe. Once the wire harnesses were all connected, I cleaned up the wires with zip ties and used double-sided tape to attach the JB4 box and Bluetooth adapter to the top of the fuse box. Finally, you can connect the OBD2 plug to the OBD2 port inside the car. If you're using a JB4, you must either re-gap the factory spark plugs or install colder spark plugs. I chose to install colder spark plugs. Make sure to buy the correct spark plugs. Do not make a mistake and buy the Denso spark plugs listed on Burger Motorsports website. You will need to buy HKS M45XL spark plugs. To install the new plugs, remove the clamp on the rubber tube attached to the intake and detach the tube from the engine. Next, remove the foam cover under the tube. Use a 12mm socket and unscrew the bolt holding each coil in place. Then detach the coil's wire harness. You may need to use a small flathead screwdriver to unhook the wire harness. Now you can remove the coils from the engine. Using a 5/8 inch spark plug socket, unscrew each of the 4 spark plugs. A magnetic spark plug socket is great for this job, but is not required. The spark plugs come pre-gapped at 0.028 inches, but Burger Motorsports suggests gapping the plugs to 0.022 inches. After you've gapped the spark plugs, you can install the new plugs into the engine. Once all the new plugs have been installed, you can reinstall the coils and intake tube by using the same steps to remove them, but in reverse. Now that the JB4 and spark plugs have been installed, the only thing left to do is reinstall the engine cover and enjoy your newfound power. This piggyback system is easy to install and remove. Also, it will not change anything permanently on your ECU. It will, however, give you a nice bump in horsepower and torque. There are several maps pre-programmed onto the unit that you can choose from. To see these gains, you will need to be able to use 91 or higher octane gas. I've inserted 5 clips showing the JB4 in operation. The first clip shows the JB4 app screen during idle. The second clip shows a quick takeoff using map 0 or stock tune. The third clip shows a quick takeoff using map 2 93 octane. I've then added 2 more clips showing quick takeoffs in N mode and normal mode after correcting the fuel wire on the Burger fuel wire adapter. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe for more content.